News out there. Look at all of those students, thousands and thousands of students protesting huge hikes in tuition fees at universities.
Yeah, because there are the deficit there and the debt is so bad in England, they're making cuts to a lot of departments. One of the departments getting hit hard is the education department. And to try to make up the shortfall, they're planning on charging students an extra £9,000, which is about $15,000 a year for tuition, which would essentially, in many cases, double their tuition.
Oh, it's insane. 2 weeks ago, they had similar protests. 50,000 students participated in that one, and it ended in violence. Some windows were broken. Cars were rocked and overturned. Atika Schubert, live in London right now. Atika, tell us about this protest.
Well, this follows on to the protest of 10th of November, where tens of thousands of students came out protesting those rise in tuition fees. This is much a sequel to that. It's just that this time, in addition to university students, a lot of high school students have come out, what they call sixth formers here, and they're concerned because obviously if tuition fees go up this year, they will be affected by it when they graduate. So that's the group that's out today. The numbers are a lot less. At the 10th of November, about 50,000 students. This really just is numbered in the hundreds. But it is a very unruly crowd. A lot of these high schoolers are not as organized as the university students were previously. And so what we are seeing here is they've surrounded a policeman and they've been rocking it back and forth. They've been letting off firecrackers. But police do seem to have it under control. They formed basically two barriers, one that's bordering on Parliament Square and another one which is blocking them off from going further up the street to the Prime Minister's office at 10 Downing Street. So basically, the protesters are penned in, and it seems to be the strategy now that the police are letting them burn themselves out before slowly letting them out of the area.
Atika, my understanding is that this was a march that began at Trafalgar Square and was making its way up to Whitehall, where, again, the Parliament buildings are, number 10 Downing Street, the Prime Minister's residence. We see them attacking that police vehicle that's stuck in the middle of the crowd there. The front window's smashed out. There's a fellow on the top trying to knock the emergency lights off of it. Are they just going to let that go on? Or, if they really start damaging property, maybe they'll respond with something a little more effective than just penning them in?
Yeah, I think the police at this point are saying that they have it under control. What they do not want is a repeat of November 10th, when university students managed to pour into the Conservative Party headquarters and trash the area, costing about more than $1 million in damage. So what they've done now is into this area. It's an unruly crowd, but so far they haven't caused a lot of property damage. There is that police in the middle of the road here. I can see it's got graffiti scrawled all over it. They've been rocking it back and forth, but they haven't caused any other property damage to the area. There's a number of businesses and government offices here. None of that has been touched. In fact, a lot of the employees in the area are sort of looking out over the windows at this whole scene that's unfolding. And so police seem pretty content to just let yell, make their point, and burn themselves out, and it probably eventually will start letting them leave the area slowly.
Atika, I just wondered, I know the British government has made some difficult choices. They've raised taxes, they've slashed programs, all in an effort to decrease their deficit. Will these student protests make any difference at all as to the decisions that have already been made?
Well, the government says it has to go ahead and make these cuts, that it's simply not, they cannot afford it in this sort of economic climate that they're in. But will it have an impact? It certainly might, and that's what the students are hoping. A lot of this anger is being directed not just to the Conservative Party, but to the Liberal Democrats. Of course, it's a coalition government, and students feel particularly betrayed by the Liberal Democrats because throughout the campaign season they had promised that they would oppose any hikes on tuition. And of course, that's exactly what's happened. Now the Liberal Democrats say it's not an ideal solution, but it's the best solution they can offer for now. And this is what has angered a lot of students. In fact, this protest was originally supposed to go down Whitehall and end up in front of Liberal Democrats' headquarters. Police clearly are not allowing that to happen, though. They blocked them off at Parliament Square. We'll have to see what happens next, if the students are going to be content with making their statement right here at Parliament Square, or if they're going to attempt to try and go further.